So we start with the third module for CCPR. We'll be talking about media relations and how PR plays a vital role in ensuring that there are right kind of PR, there are right kind of media relations that are to be handled by these companies. Now we have done in our last lecture that PR basically are public relation officers who are the spokesperson or basically who are the face of the company, who come and let the people, the general public, the masses, the media, the government know about what's happening within the organization. So it's utmost important that these PR maintain the right kind of relationship with these media people. Now, what all people or who all fall under the category of being these media relation experts? The newspapers that we read, the radio channels that we listen to, the television channels we see the channel, the news channel that we see, and internet by and large, where there are many freelance as well as paid bloggers who write for organizations or these media houses either as a contractual parameters or maybe on a freelance basis. So ensuring that the PR agents have a right rapport with these media houses is utmost important for almost all organizations. And generally, quickly to understand what is the importance of having right media relations, let's look at a few points. Why these PRs have to maintain good relations with the PR? These PRs have to maintain good relations with the media houses or with the media representatives. So utmost important point or utmost important parameter for it is because they multiply your information. Whatever information the PR gives to the media agent or to the media representative, they may have a newspaper, they may have a weekly magazine, they may have bi-monthly magazine, fortnightly magazines, and presence on the social media also, as well as they may have a tie-up with certain business news channels. So when you give information to one right media person, the information will simultaneously be spread to a lot many other sources. Along with it, what we also realize that as soon as you give the right kind of information to these houses, to these media people, they will ensure that the general public have the right kind of information they need to know about the organization. Like say for example, when we discussed the case of Maggi in one of our sessions, when Maggi was in utmost problem with regards to the lead content in its masala packets, if the PR didn't go and speak to these media houses apologizing okay, whatever it is, we'll look into the matter and we'll get back to you, they didn't come up and tell them that we are in the process of renewing the working of the whole thing, or we are into making the new ingredients, we are making changes in the ingredients list, will the general people like you and me know what's happening within the organization? So that's where these media people come into a lot of importance. Alright, so continuing with it, we also realize that with the help of these people, the media people basically are intermediary between the larger section of people and these corporate houses. Right? So when they act as mediatory, naturally, if they are in good terms with the PR agent, they will naturally spread positive word of mouth. They will spread positive information for the organization, and at the same time, because their presence is across the mediums of it to be local, regional, national, or international, they have their presence. They have their sources within the media houses. So your information is not restricted to just one small parameter to be a local news. It can even become an international news and it can get you international footage. So getting in right relations with them is utmost important. And at the same point in time, these media houses, since they have a way of capturing the TRPs, they know how to calculate the television rating points. And if a certain news is out and people constantly keep seeing that particular news, the media houses will be able to track the TRPs and give a feedback to the organization that, you know what, people view our news when we play something about your organization. It means you are a hit with the masses. People follow our news because they want to know something more about your organization. So from the organization perspective also, if they maintain right media and PR relations, They get to know so much about what's happening with the general public. If there is any feedback that needs to be given, they'll be able to do the same. And on a larger aspect, certain points or certain decisions taken in by the government need to be understood or need to be given a second thought. So these media people, they spread out information, ऐसा हो रहा है, then the general public gives a certain view about it, and the decision makers, these government decision makers, then think upon, okay, this is the general public's opinion. Why can't we consider it? The very best example is the recent case of SSR and the justice that we wanted for him. So the media house, if we talk of specifically one basic channel, R Bharat, and where Arnab Goswami tried to find out the information in the best possible way. He tried to dig the matter such that eventually what the masses were talking, he was talking the same thing. And because of the constant efforts, what happened is eventually the government agreed to go ahead with the CBI inquiry. Once again, may his soul rest in eternal peace and justice prevail in all the true sense. But from understanding the concept of how media plays an important role in the day-to-day life of not just the individual but also these companies. So at this point in time or in this particular scenario, which is the company that they are kind of representing, they are representing SSR's family and the kind of justice that needs to be given to them. So that's the basic understanding of why media relations and media relations with the PR needs to be very strong, needs to be positive. Now let's go ahead and understand that how these organizations or how these PR agents maintain the right kind of, or they build a effective media relations strategy. Now, as we said, building effective media relations. Now, from the point of view of PR, it's utmost important that it has the right connections, it has the right contact with the required media house, media agency, media company, or maybe a journalist in a regular scenario. To bottom or to sum up, media relations is one way of creating the right connections with regards to the image of a brand or an organization. So when the PR's responsibility is to make sure that in the eyes of general public, in the eyes of the government, in the eyes of the society, the image of that particular brand or the business that it's representing is positive, it's up to the point. So what points the PR agent or the PR agency who is going to deal with these media houses should keep in mind, so that there is always a right kind of news that's flowing from within the organization to the media people. So apparently there are 15 points. We'll split it into 5 points and go ahead with it. So the first point is to practice your pitch or polish your pitch basically. Now what is the meaning of polishing your pitch? Is saying that when you are speaking as a PR agent to these media relations, you need to know what information you have to give to them. You can't just generally go and say, ye sun mein aaya, ye sunne mein aaya, aise nahi. If possible, write down it in in black and white, kind of practice and then connect with the media person. Ideally, it's said that the PR should have an elevator speech. Now, what is the meaning of this elevator speech? मान लो you meet somebody in just when you are entering the lift, okay? Elevator is a lift or probably the escalator steps. If you meet somebody just at the start of it and somebody will ask you that क्या तुम कर रहे हो? So in that 2 minutes of the time, probably from the time you enter the lift till the time you'll probably get off, you just have a minute or two to pitch yourself. What are you or what is your business all about? So that is a major concept of elevator speech, that everybody of us should have something which is known as an elevator speech. Somebody will ask you within a minute how best you can describe yourself that the opposite person understands what you're trying to convey and is able to remember you for a longer span of time. So what they say is that the PR agent should always polish his pitch. He should have an elevator speech ready. And apart from it also, depending on what kind of news has to be shared with the public or with the masses, you should keep something which is the medium kind of a news, the small news and a larger news, which goes probably to 1,000 plus words. So the smallest kind of a news would be, a tweet, one liner, two liner, and the audience understands what it is. Maybe in the medium section would be 200 to 300 words. The in shorts about what the whole information is, what you want to process. and a larger speech is a proper framed article that talks right from what introduction was, what is the process, and the conclusion of it. So this is the first point, that polish your pitch. Then we come to the second point, which is find the news angle. Now you can't just randomly keep circulating news. You need to make sure that whatever you are conveying has a right angle attached to it. Is it sports kind of a news of your organization that you're wanting to convey, or is it with regards to new product or services that's coming and you want the masses to know, or is it the change of a CEO or the change of an important manager within your organization that you want to convey to the public? So you understand what is your angle, and only then you let the media relationship or the media agency know what the news is all about. Then we move to the third one, which talks about know which journalist to contact. Now, for the ones who know that there is not just one type of a journalist writing a particular information, there are various types of journalists. There are crime journalists, there are the ones who are dealing with crime scenes, there are one who are dealing with the media, as in the page 3 celebs and news related to it. Then there are journalists who purely focus on big corporate houses and what's happening within them. So what kind of a news you are propagating. Now these business organizations also have big parties. So if they're having a page 3 kind of a party, they should contact the page 3 journalist. They can't contact a crime scene journalist and tell him that, okay, this is the news that I want to give you. So find out which journalist will be able to pitch your audiences, pitch the news to your audiences, right? So you should know your journalist. Then it says that you should also keep looking for contacts, or should looking for journalists who would want to work for you or who would want to find information. So one way is that you contact the right kind of journalist. The second way is you find online who will be available to take in your story on a freelance basis and give it to the right media houses.